We're back with Tony Robbins. He's about to reveal the #1 decision you can make right now today to have real wealth. Now, you say real wealth is much more than just money. And I want people to hear this. It's really, really important. What's real wealth to you?
I think real wealth is living life on your terms, right? You know, some people's idea of that is 3 beautiful children. Some people want to write poetry. Some people want to build a business. It's really whatever's going to fulfill you. I really tell people you need 2 skills to really have an extraordinary life. You need to master the skill of the science of achievement. Like, how do I take what I dream about and make it real? And I've spent 40 years of my life focused on that. But then the second lesson I think might even be more important, and that is the art of fulfillment. Because if you're successful but you're not fulfilled, that's the ultimate failure. You know, we saw Robin Williams, who we both knew, beautiful soul. I traveled around the world this year asking everybody, how many of you love, how many people in this room love, not like, loved Robin Williams? Raise your hand if you loved him. Look at this. It's 99% of the room. There's only 1% jerks that don't like him in this room. Just kidding. But here's this man who was the ultimate achiever. He created his own TV show. He became & He then said, I want a beautiful family. He wanted more money than he could spend. Then he said, I want to make movies. Then I want to win an Academy Award for not being funny. He did all of it. And he hung himself.
Yeah.
And it's a disaster because you think about hundreds of millions of people loved him, but worse, his family. Yeah. And I know no one here is going to hang themselves, but here's a man that made everybody happy but himself. That's the ultimate failure. It's like when you get on the airline, the first thing they say to you is, if there's a problem, the air mask comes down and put it on your child. No. They say put it on yourself, which sounds selfish, but if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of your kids. You can't take care of the other people. So I think the art of fulfillment is really critical.
So what is the science? Break it down for me. I mean, you just did some wonderful interventions on members of our audience.
Well, just opening them.
Open them. Usually it's hours of work, which I've seen you do. But there is a series of tactics that you offer us.
Yes. I think really the science of achievement is to understand that there are specific rules of the game around areas. Like if you want to build wealth, I went and interviewed the 50 smartest people on the planet, the Warren Buffetts, the Ray Dalias, the Carl Icahns, and said, what are their rules? Because if you sow the same seeds, regardless of your age, your color, your background, your gender, you'll get the same rewards. So when I'm looking to help somebody, I'm really looking to see who can I model? There's 3 steps. All of you in this room, think if you would, if you're at home, what's something in your life today that once was a dream or a goal and maybe seemed impossible when you first thought about it? How many can think of something like that? I'm curious. Good. How did you achieve it? Because the best way to learn how to achieve is model what you've done at your best. And if this seemed impossible, how'd you do it? I'll tell you 3 steps, most basic things everybody does. First, you become obsessed about it. You become so focused. Who can remember thinking about this constantly? Can you remember that? Yep. And so what happens is wherever focus goes, energy flows. And it gives you the energy to follow through. Yep. But the second step really is taking massive action. If you've got the energy and you go, I don't know where to start, throw a rock and where that drops, start there. Talk like the next person. Just take massive action and keep changing. If you want to speed up the result, you find someone who's already getting a result you want. They've lost 30 pounds. Do what they did. They have a relationship that's passionate 20 years later. Let's figure out what they're doing. That's the way that you do it. And then the third thing is if you really know what you want and you're obsessed by it, you got all this energy and drive and you're taking massive action, you're changing your approach, you're doing what works, the third thing we need is grace. Some people call it luck, some people call it God, or grace. And I really believe that the more you focus on the grace in your life, the more you have. Like if you do the first 2 steps, grace tends to show up when you do your part. But I think we're all living in a world where we drive on streets we didn't have to pave. We read books that we didn't have to write. We go to an internet we didn't create, and those answers are there. We are blessed, and the more you know you're blessed, the more alive you are, the more fear disappears and faith shows up, and then you find yourself taking action, and you truly become unshakable.
Let me go to the art of fulfillment.
Yes.
It really changed my life when I realized that I was really good at the science of achievement.
Yes.
But I really hadn't worked on the art of fulfillment. It just wasn't where my mind was.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
And I bet a lot of folks can join us. You make the point that the best way to really fulfill yourself is to give and grow.
That's correct.
You phrase it the opposite way, grow and give.
Yes. The reason is happiness can be found in one word, progress. I mean, I'm sure you've all, who's ever achieved a goal and after you achieved it, you went, is this all there is? Who's had this experience, right? It's the worst thing. It's worse than failing, because if you fail, most of us will persist and find a way. But if you succeed and you're unhappy, you're basically technically screwed, right?
Right, technically.
So, that's a technical term.
Scientifically speaking.
Scientifically turning. So if you want to shift, what you have to realize is this 2 million-year-old brain is always looking for what's wrong. So you have to realize that's not my thought that I'm worried about my kids. That's been around forever. And what you have to do is make the most important decision in your life. You don't have to, but I did this 2 years ago. It changed my life. I decided life is too short to suffer. Now, I would have never thought I suffered before. I have most amazing wife, 4 kids, great mission life. But if you look at life, everything you do is one of 2 states. It's either a beautiful state, a high energy state, or it's a low energy state of suffering, like frustration, worry, concern, stress, resentment, fear. And all of us as humans tend to go those. And I used to say, well, I would get stressed. Of course, that's part of, I have 31 companies. We do $5 billion in sales. I have a busy life. But I realized it's still suffering, and I don't want to suffer. So I created a 90-second rule. It's really simple. If I feel myself starting to feel that stress, I realize it's all small stuff. And what I do is I go, look at that funny little thought going by, that thought that's been around forever. I breathe slowly, and I find something to appreciate, or something to give, or something to love. Because when you appreciate or you're in gratitude, you can't be angry and grateful simultaneously. You can't be fearful and grateful simultaneously. So every day I put myself in this state. First thing in the morning, I take 10 minutes and I train my nervous system to be in that state.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out on new videos to live the good life.